Shaq Griffin was definitely the star of the combine, bench pressing 20 reps with a prosthetic hand, running sub 440, and even participating in catch drills. Several NFL stars took notice. J.J. Watt said, Shaq Griffin killing it. Von Miller said, I would love to play with this guy. And Richard Sherman said, if Shaq Griffin doesn't get drafted in the first 2 days, the system is broken. Productive and performed well at the combine, played well against high-level competition. Nice.
I agree with all those guys.
More.
Is this a guy, CC, that will come into a locker room? It's very hard for rookies to do this, but instantly with the respect of the locker room, to a degree?
His story and the credibility within NFL locker room, it transfers, because there's a lot of guys who have been given up on, even though it seems like, oh man, everyone just has a lot of talent, but typically everyone has some story. Loving his story, and it will be well received in NFL locker rooms.
It's good to hear and good to know. All right, time now for some stories to start your morning. John Elway and the Broncos have reportedly discussed trading with the Browns for that #1 overall pick. According to reports, the deal is very dependent on where Kirk Cousins end up. What do you think, Nick? Good idea for the Broncos to want to trade up there?
Absolutely. If you're the Broncos, you don't get Kirk Cousins, and you say, there's a quarterback we would love to take where we're sitting at #5, yeah, if you can move up to go get him at 1 without trading 3 future first-round picks, something insane, then absolutely. If you're the Browns, it's a very risky maneuver to trade back in the first round for the 3rd consecutive year when you still don't have your quarterback. I understand why the Broncos do it. I'm not sure why the Browns would do it unless they are offered an absolute king's ransom for that pick.
I'm going to call BS on this one. I don't think there's a chance that Denver can trade with Cleveland for the first pick. I believe this is about John Elway diverting the attention of they need a quarterback. So you know something? I'm going to put it out there. I'm trying to talk to Cleveland, because if I was actually talking to Cleveland about trading for the first pick, why would I tell everyone? But because I don't believe it's real, and it will keep the heat off of me, because people know he has had 3 bad decisions at trying to get a quarterback. So now after they don't get the trade to Cleveland, oh, I tried.
I can't blame me. I had to take my 3rd choice at QB.
Good insight, CC. Baker Mayfield, short in height, not short in confidence about his pro potential. Mayfield said if anyone is going to turn around the Cleveland Browns, it's going to be him. CC, tall task in the NFL this season, turning around the Cleveland Browns. Can Mayfield do it?
I believe there's 2 or 3 quarterbacks that can do it, but if I get Barkley with the #1 pick, I believe the chances go way, way up with that quarterback being successful. So they need some help. I believe Baker Mayfield does have the type of football pedigree. I believe he is a good football player. I believe he's going to be a good player in the pros. I believe he's going to be a good leader. I believe guys will follow him. I believe he's going to win a lot of games. So Baker, yes, I believe he can turn around the Cleveland Browns.
Baker has said all the right things, I feel, since this whole process has begun. Baker is doing everything the teams want him to do. He has, I thought, confronted head-on some of the questions about who he is as a person related to the arrest and related to some of the stuff he did on the sideline. Whether or not that means he's a good enough football player to turn around Cleveland, if you can turn around Cleveland, you are the best quarterback in this draft. Is Baker Mayfield that? I'm not certain of that, but he is doing everything he should do to put himself in contention to be the first quarterback taken, or at least taking him in top 5 picks.
All right, let's go to the NBA. We asked you all to vote online for the First Things First Midseason Awards. James Harden is your midseason MVP, and you voted Ben Simmons for the Rookie of the Year. What do you think, Nick? Fans get this one right?
Oh, I think they got it right. I know CC and I agree on the MVP. Harden's the MVP and going to win it maybe nearly unanimously. But we disagree on Rookie of the Year. I think they got it 100%.
You don't even know. I haven't even said my opinion yet.
You're Donovan Mitchell. You've been Donovan Mitchell.
Hey, man.
What?
Make your own comment.
Okay, yeah.
Don't be trying to make my comments.
Okay, well,
you don't know what I'm getting ready to say.
I know. Okay, sure. I think they got it right with Ben Simmons and James Harden. CC.
The first half of the season, First Things First. Not big about the First Things First awards and everything. We'll talk about that later on. But Ben Simmons is a problem. Like, he is a problem. I can understand why they say, man, this guy's been very, very good. But to not have Donovan Mitchell in the conversation, that was my biggest problem. Does Ben Simmons, does he have an advantage that, yes, this is his 2nd year? Yes. Do I have a problem that he can't shoot outside 6 feet? That's his highlight. A fadeaway at 6 feet. Like, that's his highlight. So Mitchell should be in the conversation. But yes, to this point, through 60 games, yeah, he should be the MVP, the Rookie of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even though he's not a rookie.
He is a rookie.
Like I said, man,
More-
He's had a red shirt.
More Rockets.
I got new data, man. I've been waiting.
They picked up their 15th win in a row. They secured a league-best 49-13 record. As good as that is, they still only remain a half game up on the Golden State Warriors, who themselves keep winning. CC, can the Rockets continue this success through the postseason, you think?
This is the thing. I think it's more important for them to be the #1 seed. Now, is this a legitimate question? Yes. Do I believe they can reach the conference finals? Yes. Do I believe they can reach the NBA finals? Yes. Will they continue it? I don't know, Jenna, because we haven't seen them do it. We haven't seen the coach perform well in the postseason. We haven't seen Chris Paul, either due to injury or a team. We haven't seen Harden been able to do this. So for us to think that collectively there's a question mark, yes, there should be, because we have not seen it. Up to this point, though, they are the best team in the NBA. They have played the best, but even after winning 15 in a row, Jenna, they still only a half game ahead of Golden State.
They are now one of just 5 teams, or one of 6 teams. Now they are the 6th team in modern NBA history, have multiple 14-plus game winning streaks in the course of a year. 3 of those teams won the finals. One of them got to the NBA finals and lost to Jordan's Bulls in 6. And the other one is a different D'Antoni team, the D'Antoni Suns, that had the series against the Spurs where Steve Nash got hip checked and everything went to hell. If you don't believe in
Is that the world's most famous hip check? Because you keep bringing that up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's a lot of people believe that the suspensions that followed there is what determined the NBA champion that year. If you don't believe in the Rockets at this point, as Chris Broussard, who was sitting there, didn't. CC's a little skeptical to a degree. It is.
I mean, what do I have to believe in?
Well, that's what I'm about to say. It is because they haven't done it. If you don't believe in the Rockets right now, there is nothing they could do to make you believe in them other than postseason success.
Hey, you guys remember when the Cavs made all those trades and then the team won a couple games and then everything was great? Well, Cleveland lost 126-117 to the Nuggets on Sunday, and they're now just 4-4 since all those new guys came to town. LeBron James says the entire team needs to improve.
Again, we're all trying to get better. It's not just, the guys are just, we're at the deadline, but it's all of us. We're all trying to figure it out.
My new favorite question to Nick, because I've asked it every single day since we started the show, September 1st. Is it time to start worrying about the Cavs?
I'm not certain why we would. I know this, that the Cavs are...
The regular season games don't mean anything. When you go out there and you have a team on one side, one team on the other side, and you lose, no need to be worrying about it.
Are you concerned? Are you concerned? Go ahead, you go.
Yeah, I believe winning games are important.
Okay, so are you concerned about the Cavs?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been concerned for a long time.
Okay, so what's...
The trade did not cure what I have. And that is doubt that the Cavs, can they put it all together? Like, are they a championship team? Yes, I have doubts about that. Yes.
It put a Band-Aid on it, but I don't think it cured it.
Again, I guess where the question is, what are we discussing here? Are we discussing, are the Cavs the favorites to win the title? No, they haven't been the favorites to win the title all year, and there was nothing they could have done throughout the regular season.
What's a good season for Cleveland?
A successful season is winning the title.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So,
do you have concerns about them winning the title?
But that would have been Chris, that would have been the question no matter what. Like, of course, everyone would have been.
So what's the problem with that?
Everyone would have been concerned with the Cavs' chances of winning the title as long as Golden State exists in its current iteration, especially since the Kyrie trade happened. But if we're talking about because they lost to Denver, and because they're now 4-4 since the trades, what is my level of concern? I know this about the Cavs. They have gone through 3 separate team makeovers throughout the year. Somewhat unprecedented for a team in one season. They're going to, by the way, have to go through a 4th when Kevin Love gets back. The beginning of the year, they didn't have the training camp with LeBron. They had all these new players post-Kyrie. They struggled right then. Then they got going, and then Isaiah Thomas came back. They struggled there. Then the trade deadline happens. I don't know if it's fair to say they struggled. That game, if you watch, it's a 1-point game with 2 minutes left. Missed 3, made 3, and game changed. But am I worried about the Cavs clearly being the best team in their conference come the playoffs? No, I'm not worried about that. I don't know where you stand on that. I feel like that's the question.
Well, I think the question should be, can they win a championship? Are you concerned about their ability to win a championship? Yes, I'm very concerned. This is the reason why. Because even since they've gotten the new players, LeBron James has played well. but the rest of the guys have not blended in well with him. So that's my number one concern. LeBron is playing well. My number two concern, how much juice does George Hill have left in the tank? And is he good enough offensively for them to be a championship team? That's number two. Number three, the younger players. They are younger, but they're the same bad defensive team. So that's number three. Number four, Tristan Thompson, even before he got hurt. How good is he as the Cavs center? And should Kevin Love be their center? Does that four? Here comes number five. J.R. Smith throws something on one of the assistant coaches.
I know.
Okay, so no, Nick shouldn't be concerned.
Right,
but anyone else out there who's watching basketball, if you think that Cleveland is a championship team and you are missing these things, then you're not watching what's going on.
CC, I'm watching what's going on. I've watched every Cavs game this year. The idea that we have to...
So J.R. throwing something on the assistant coach, that didn't concern you?
That concerned me for JR's future with the team. Does it concern...
You're not concerned about J.R.'s psyche?
Well, I don't know. His first game back was one of his best games of the year. So I don't think that JR is not a guy I'm counting on right now. We've talked about this all year about JR. Go ahead.
Is Damon Jones, is that LeBron James's man?
That is LeBron's guy. Yes. The guy he threw the soup on, if people don't know. Yes.
That does not concern you, Nick.
They weren't arguing about LeBron. Like, I don't understand. Chris. Well,
Nick, we know how these teams work. All right? You're not going to have a guy, I don't care if he's JR, want to throw something on one of your boys, and we know that's LeBron James's guy. If you think that that doesn't have internal team locker room discontent, like, oh, everything's just smooth in Cleveland. Well, I'm glad you look at it that way. Everyone should have those type of glasses to be able to look at the Cavs at.
What I know is this, is that they are without their second best player. They have played 30 games this year with a actual roster.
That's a legitimate concern.
Right, if he weren't coming back, if it were an injury that you thought would affect him in the playoffs.
You'd be concerned about how he's going to adapt with the other new players.
Right.
And so those are legitimate concerns.
They are.
So you can admit that.
I said it, if you were listening, I said it 10 minutes ago, that the Cavs, that they will have to go through a fourth rebuild or getting new players involved when Kevin Love comes back, because these guys haven't played with him before. But am I concerned about their ability to make the NBA Finals? No. My feelings on the Cavs are the same right now they were at the beginning of the year. They will make the NBA Finals and be underdogs in those NBA Finals. How they play Game 8 with the new players is not going to change my opinion.
It doesn't matter to you whether they are seeded 7th or 1st or 3rd or 4th?
As long as LeBron James is playing, I will expect a championship from him. If he's the greatest player in the world, when one player can dominate a series, that should be the expectations for a LeBron James-based team. Now, that should be the question. Are they championship caliber? No, for which I do have concerns.
Okay, I will be writing that down and ask you that exact way with that same inflection tomorrow. So we're good on that. That's segment 4. Pepper, if you're listening in the control room. Moving on to Lonzo Ball. Ball had 18 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds Saturday in a win over the Spurs, and that was on 6 of 10 from three-point shooting. Lakers 4-0 since he came back from that knee injury. But despite his recent success, Lonzo says, quote, people are still going to hate. We're not hating here. CC, is it looking like Lonzo can live up to the Lonzo Ball hype?
I don't know if the hype is, but what I see is